If you knew that there was a version of you on a parallel timeline living your dream life and that it was possible for you to merge with that version of you, wouldn't your life get a lot easier? Quantum leaping is not about efforting and working hard. Sometimes it is about working on your belief systems and your energetic frequencies and your vibration and all of that. But it's not about hard work in the physical realm. It is about aligning your thoughts, feelings, actions, behaviors, and identity with the version of you already living on that timeline. And do you know the best way to align with that version of yourself? It is by using the law of assumption. The law of assumption was made popular, actually created by Neville back in the 1920s or something. It is about assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled. It is basically assuming that you are that person that lives on that timeline. And since there are versions of you living on parallel timelines, you just assume that you are them, that you are merging with them, that you have already merged with them, and reality can't help but reflect that back to you. One of the things I struggled with most about the law of assumption was it felt very blasphemous to me. Neville talks about using I am affirmations, using I am beliefs, basically saying that you are God and that you create reality. Because we've had so much religious programming, and I have at least had so much religious programming in my DNA, it was hard for me to grasp that at first. But let me offer you this reframe that made the law of assumption so much easier for me. You are not replacing God. You are recognizing that God operates through you. Once you understand this viscerally, you will understand that you are meant to have everything that you desire and you are meant to live on your desired timeline because God is expressing itself through you. I believe that our desires are literally from the universe, God, whoever you want to call it. They are gifts that we are meant to, quote unquote, manifest in this reality. But I take it a step further. They are gifts and things that already are existing in this reality. Any desire you have is because there's a version of you on another timeline already living that reality. And those desires are like echo back from those parallel future timelines of you, calling you towards it, telling you to align your thoughts, feelings, actions, frequency, vibration, behavior, and identity with that version so you can collapse those timelines and live in that reality. So the law of assumption is really simple on paper. It's not so simple to do, but like I said, it's really about it's about deciding what you want, assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, and using your imagination to imagine whatever can help you get into that feeling place. It's about feeling that it's already done. So you're not going to want to use imagination to basically imagine so much you in the process of getting something. It's more like if you want to live in the reality where you're very wealthy, you would imagine yourself already in the house with the wealth. If you're wanting to live in the reality with your soulmate, you would imagine that feeling of you celebrating your wedding or your first anniversary or something like that. Not so much like going on the date with them. If you are imagining yourself in your dream career, it's not you getting the interview to go for the career. It's you sitting in your big office with the big windows and your beautiful computer and whatever else, your crystals on your desk, whatever else signifies to you success. And it's whatever you can imagine that gets you in that feeling place of not only is it already done, but like that excitement of having created that wish. So it's about the feeling of the wish fulfilled. And it is about holding on to that belief, assuming that once you have decided that you want something, basically that all other realities disperse. That once you've decided what parallel timeline you want to live in, according to quantum leaping, all the other doors close. If you've seen that show Dark Matter about quantum leaping, where they take pills and then they go into this like box that basically has infinite number of doors that you can open one of the doors to a different parallel timeline. So basically when they go into this dark tunnel, they're in this superposition state where there's all these multiple parallel realities. And when you focus on one and find that feeling place of having it, all the other realities basically cease to exist and you are just focused on that specific reality. So the law of assumption is about deciding what you want, getting into that feeling place of it already happened, it's already done, assuming that that is the reality you now live in, and ignoring anything that tells you otherwise. One thing I'm going to tell you about quantum leaping that is very important is reality has a lag time, and it takes a while for things to catch up. Next, you are going to want to pay attention to when you fall out of that state, when you realize that you are doubting that new reality. Because you know what doubting actually does? It pulls you back into the old reality. Oftentimes when we are quantum leaping, because like I said, there's a lag time in reality, all the reasons why we didn't jump to that reality before, all the old negative beliefs, all the old identity, all the patterns, all the energetic patterns to people, places, and things that are not in alignment with this new version of us are going to try to call us back. This is also when you hear like tests from the universe. You'll decide to go to a new reality, and all the reasons why you were not able to get there before, like I said, limiting beliefs, energetic patterns, beliefs in yourself, belief about reality, behaviors, the way you're acting, and your vibrational frequency, there's a period where it's going to try to hold you back and drag you back into the new reality. You may have actually made the quantum leap. You may have done the quantum leaping work. You may have assumed the new identity. You might be acting different, vibrating different, making different choices. And when these tests come up, what you need to do is stay focused on the reality that you are creating. This is another thing in quantum physics about the observer effect, that basically what you give your attention to grows. Like if you want something to die in your life, take your attention away from it, like actually. So the next stage is things are going to try to call you back to the old reality, to remind you of who you used to be, to remind you of that old timeline, and you are going to persist. Neville was very specific about persisting in the new reality. You are going to want to continue assuming that you already live in that new reality. You've walked through that dark corridor that I described. You've opened the door to the new reality. You've felt the feelings that you already exist in it, and you've closed the door. Just assume that you are in the new reality, and anything that's showing up to tell you you're not is just echoes from your past. It's echoes from old timelines. It's old timelines trying to call you back. Ignore it. You are not that person anymore. Decide who you are. Assume it's already done. Catch yourself when you forget. Return to the state of the wish fulfilled, and most importantly, persist in the assumption. A powerful exercise that I like to use the law of assumption in quantum leaping is an anchor. An anchor is something that anchors you into that reality. So what you can do if you start to feel triggered by the old identity, or you start to worry that you start to falter in your assumption, look over your shoulder and tell yourself, I don't live in that reality anymore. You are putting that reality behind you. If you want to imagine, like I said, the corridors, like that door closing, continue to remind your subconscious mind that that was the past, and you are now in the new reality. You now have the new identity of the version of you that lives in their dream reality. And that is how you quantum leap using the law of assumption.